It says we're live.
It lies.
So it says waiting for an Olden as well.
Well, it shows 11 people watching.
11? Are you serious?
Yeah.
11? Are you serious?
There's way too much delay there. So I told the guy, there's no way you're fitting 300 pounds of cotton candy in that little thing. It's all about volume.
Not with the llamas in the way anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess the kickoff for me today is the issues with Cuba. Black Lives Matter
Whatever.
is dissing the United States as usual, dissing the flag, and saying they support Cuban
Which
freedoms. But what they neglect to mention is that one of the things that Castro did when they took over in '62 was to basically, any successful black families were either imprisoned, killed, or put on work gangs.
Oh,
So they actually,
welcome to your communist paradise.
they actually did not like blacks and still don't in Cuba. The other thing that's been interesting is that the media is not showing any of the Cuban protesters waving American flags, which they have been doing from day one.
Well, let's face it, the media is about as anti-American as you can get in this country.
oh my God, they will not say the word communist.
Yeah,
Because
and that's the other thing. Yeah.
I'm not surprised that I heard reports yesterday that protesters had been killed.
Well, there's definitely one dead. There are 100 missing.
Yeah,
It's a
gotta love
commu-
face recognition.
If it's a communist country, there's dead protesters. Period.
Well,
I don't need reports. I know communist countries. That's how communist countries handle
Yeah.
protests.
I was wondering yesterday how well Cuba has integrated facial recognition software into their
Well,
They're
considering
safe.
that China built it for them.
Well, all
so
you
they're-
do is download Facebook, and it comes with a Facebook suite.
yeah, and they're
Would
So
you
they're-
like to tag? What's her name?
so they're arresting the ringleaders as quickly as they can.
Yep, that's exactly what they're doing.
What did the UN request us do?
Oh, they want to
Oh,
probe us for racism and human rights.
Yeah, we're the ones that need to be probed, not China. Oh my God, you want to see racism? Go to Mexico.
Kenya.
No, go to Mexico because it's shades of brown,
Oh yeah.
and it's amazing how finely they will differentiate the different shades of brown for project for
I don't know
racism.
about recently, but back when I was actually having to deal with folks south of the border on a professional basis, the Mexican highest political officers looked like a town in Ireland.
Yeah.
Yes, they're very white.
Yeah, blonde, blue-eyed. It's like, good Lord. You know, you got Pedro Patrick Armendariz. It's like, really?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's the good one. Yeah, 100 missing might be wishing they were is right, Sarah. And yes, we have a troll.
We do have a troll?
Yeah, Jake Newhouse, whoever that is.
What the hell's
Blue Line Pie.
what?
I don't know. And Josh is going, what the hell is that dude nattering about? I don't have a clue.
I wonder if Jake Newhouse isn't a bot.
Yeah, could be.
What the hell is
I don't know.
dude, stop drinking the bong water.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. That was one thing. The other thing is I really need to clean my garage up more often.
Saw that.
Yeah.
He basically emptied out Atwoods of all their ammo boxes.
Yeah. 84 boxes of ammo out of my garage yesterday afternoon.
Random boxes or?
Yeah, out of my stash over in the corner where I would dump stuff.
Yeah.
84 boxes.
Come back from a hunting trip and you empty everything in the corner?
Yeah, which reminds me, I got 2 more boxes of 30-30 for you.
Oh, thank you. Now that I've got something that allows you to shoot the lever revolution. Annoying as hell.
Yeah, it is a common infestation on the live stream. So
did Bot Boy come back, or was it a hit and run?
It was a hit and run.
Dude, I'm telling you, your liver is begging you, stop drinking the bong water.
No, it's a bot. Hey, did you have you heard any more about how suddenly we have a plan to withdraw the Afghan translators?
Oh yeah. Now they're saying they're going to chopper them out because they released the plan before they had it in place.
Well,
right.
Are y'all following the Special Forces private getting their translators out? Apparently, there's been no less than 3 that I know of.
Yeah.
Afghan translators, and their families suddenly got rides courtesy of the SF teams they used to work with.
Well, yeah. Biden pulled everybody out so fast they didn't have a chance to do any of this.
Yeah.
So now everybody's going, well, what about these people? So now Biden announces, well, this is our plan.
Shades of April 15th, 1975.
Which gives the Taliban X number of days to target the translators and their families before they can get them out.
Yep.
And the level of stupid.
This Taliban is too busy whacking Super Took pilots.
Yeah.
They'll get the translator families.
Yeah, but they're after the Super Took. Anybody that flew counterinsurgency aircraft is apparently getting whacked left, right, and center.
Yeah, helicopters and Super Toscano pilots. No, Josh, I'm not offering any of my ammo up.
Yeah, it's just everybody's like, oh, Biden's got years and years of diplomatic experience. He's gonna be great on.
No, he's got years of tapioca.
Yeah, it's this administration arguably is shaping up to be worse than the Obama administration on foreign affairs.
That's no lie.
Yeah, and it's going to be erased because you're
going to have to define worse, because in foreign affairs, in diplomacy, it's always shades of bad. You never ever have a good outcome in diplomacy. I don't care what.
If both sides lose the least, it's a win.
It's a win.
But
we're shaping up to getting people who trusted us whacked. We are about to set a new bar.
Yeah, because
it was bad enough in Vietnam in '75.
Yeah.
And the Iraqi translators that Obama abandoned.
Yeah.
And now we're going to abandon the Afghan. It basically, if we get involved anywhere else in the world, if we need translators.
And here's the kicker. One of the ones that Ian's talking about that they got out was forced to consort with the Taliban as a young child.
Mm-hmm.
So now the U.S. is going to PNG him, persona non grata him, and kick him out of the country. Because as a 9-year-old, he was forced to give the Taliban food because he was a member of the Taliban at 9 years old.
So we're going to send him back to get whacked by the Taliban.
Yeah. Jimmy Carter should be giving thanks. He is now the 3rd worst president.
Yeah. No kidding. Right?
Yeah. It's now a runoff to see who's worse, Obama or Biden. Yeah. But
the race to the bottom is neck and neck.
Oh, and speaking of kicking people out of the country, Mayorkas said yesterday that any Cubans that come to the United States will be sent back.
Well, he didn't say that in that he said you are not welcome here.
Yeah.
He implied that they were going to be sent back to
Cuba. Who said this?
Mayorkas, DHS.
Really?
Yes, head of DHS.
But yet, for years,
wet feet, dry feet.
Wet feet, dry feet. For those of you that do not know what wet foot, dry foot is,
it's not a foot fungus.
If people could get a foot on dry land,
if you were Cuban,
and Haitians,
and you could set foot on dry land, dry U.S. soil, you had asylum.
Yeah.
If you got stopped, still in the water, over the water, not yet touching American soil, you had to go back. Wet foot, dry foot.
Yep. And Stephanie brings up a good point. Mayorkas is himself a Cuban refugee.
Ouch.
Isn't he 2nd gen or is he 1st gen?
sad. Don't know.
Don't care.
Did his
Doesn't
parents
matter.
escape, or did he escape?
Doesn't
I
matter.
don't know. Yeah, the jury says, yeah, he did pretty good for a Cuban refugee himself. Yeah,
Well, anybody that's surprised by this,
first gen.
I would like to inquire as to anybody who's surprised by this. Does anybody remember Elian Gonzalez and who was
yeah.
in power at the time?
Oh yeah, there's a Clinton fiasco.
Yep. Janet Reno.
And the Clintons, who
Yeah.
should have eaten that but didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they a couple years ago they got into Cuba and they interviewed Elian Gonzalez again.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a good interview or was it a pre-taped interview?
The state did an excellent job of
Yeah.
programming the kid.
Oh, yeah.
He hates his father.
Oh.
Yeah. Josh says, but only for those actually escaping. Those being allowed to fly from Cuba
Mariel boat lift.
are the undesirables, and they are still coming through Mexico. Cuba won't take them back.
Anybody remember the Mariel boat lift?
Oh, yeah.
That's when Cuba or Castro decided to empty the. He didn't have enough room in the prisons for all the political folks, so he took anybody who was a political prisoner, the rapists, the murderers, and shipped them to Florida.
Yep. Shoved them on boats.
Yep. And a lot of Cuban Americans out of Miami rented boats, bought boats, took their boats, went to Cuba and brought people back.
Mhm.
The problem was the criminals got mixed in with them.
Oh, you know,
Because they were just loading people at the piers.
yeah. It wasn't about got mixed in.
Yeah, no,
The whole idea was to dump his problems on us.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
he needed more room for political inmates.
Yeah, the Marolitos, that's what they were called.
There's an outfit out of Florida that flies 337s, which are the twin engine inline Cessnas. That they fly the routes between and the currents between Cuba and Florida. If they see a boat, they drop a boat.
Yeah,
Because oftentimes it's not a boat that they see; it's just a bunch of tires.
Bunch of inner tubes.
Yeah,
So they'll drop an inflatable boat and food and water so that people can make it.
Yeah.
And it's run by Cuban refugees or
Yeah.
the children of Cuban refugees.
yeah, Josh makes a good point. Cuba has been doing the Marolita thing for the last 3 years, but mostly shipping them to Mexico
So they can walk across the border.
so they can walk across the border. But they're the ones they don't want back because they're the criminals.
Well, I have very little issue with actual Cubans.
They're the non-state criminals.
I have very little issue with the Cubans. As a whole, every Cuban I've run across has been a thoroughly decent human being and about as conservative.
Yes.
A bunch of them thought Reagan was way too socialist for them.
Yeah.
And I tend to get along with those folks.
And Cuban sandwiches are to die for. And Cuban coffee.
Cuban coffee is good.
You have to get the Cuban sandwich at the right place.
Yeah, you have to have an actual Cuban sandwich,
Yeah.
not the.
And there's in Miami.
And we're off on food.
Yes.
Well, we've been off on food since Jim was over there
14
crunching
minutes.
on his animal crackers.
Animal crackers.
Josh, they're animal crackers, not Tostitos.
Yeah. Oh God, I hate Tostitos.
Yeah. Josh says, and I don't hear the crackling of the bag anymore. Yeah, he ate them all.
No.
I just,
Oh,
We just got the bags open.
no,
A decent Cuban sandwich made by folks that know their way around a panini press
yes.
is a thing of beauty.
Yeah.
and with actual Cuban bread.
There's this Cuban restaurant in Miami that we went to when I was on a trip. Oh my God, best Cuban sandwich I've ever had. We had to get somebody to translate for the waiter because he didn't speak any English.
Yeah.
Because
And
I'm
Cuban
sure-
Spanish is a kind of weird.
I'm pretty sure that everybody who it was all this one family running this one restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody spoke English. But so my oh God, the food was good.
That's the thing about bread is a lot of people think bread is just bread. It's not. It's like
So many different types.
there's a particular variety of Lebanese bread that looks a lot like a pita, but it's not pita.
Yeah.
It's not a pita. It's the same sort of pocket. It's a big, like a tortilla or pita. It's a
Yeah.
double layer pocket unleavened bread. But it's not. It's Lebanese bread. It's an entirely different, distinct bread.
Yeah.
And I would give somebody's kidney to actually get some actual Lebanese bread here.
Well,
Because
there are these BAPs in Angola. that were so good, and I can't find them. Whereas they go, no, it's just a Portuguese bat, but I'm like, no, it's not.
No.
No, well, it's not
It's
Lavash either.
It's I'm trying to make these rotisserie chicken sandwiches with garlic and butter and Lebanese bread. And so, well, just use pita. No, pita's not the same thing. It doesn't taste the same. Doesn't have the same consistency. It's not Lebanese bread.
No, it's not naan either.
It's not. Oh, it's definitely not naan. It's a lot like a pita, except fluffier.
Yeah.
A little chewier, a little fluffier with a different taste.
Mm-hmm.
It's an absolutely lovely little bread. And then there's the fatira bread we used to get in Malta. Very distinct bread, lovely bread.
Lafa?
Fatira.
No, Fatera. Okay. Not Lafa, Joel, Fatera.
That was the Maltese bread was fatira.
Yeah.
And the United, the Market Street. Oh, we make fatira. It's like, okay, sweet. No, it's not
I think
fatira.
it's got something to do with the use of different
And
yeast.
since Cedar happens to be a cook, there's a difference in flours and yeast and baking temperature
God,
and
yes.
rising
Oh
time.
God, yes.
I mean, even
All of
look
the
at-
above, yes.
Even look at an authentic po' boy out of Louisiana. That bread.
Yeah.
It's very soft on the inside. It's crusty.
Yeah.
It's very thin crusty. And so it doesn't hurt your mouth. And it's different. And the only place around here that gets it right, unfortunately, is Popeyes.
Yeah.
But everybody else, they just get like a hoagie roll, and you're just like, no.
Yeah.
No, that's
No,
not.
that's
That's not
not it.
right. That's not right. No, it's
Well,
the French bread.
It's like French bread versus tan bread versus San Francisco sourdough.
Yes.
Well,
Sourdough in San Francisco tastes different than anywhere else because of the yeast and the water.
the French bread that we used to get in Libya and in Morocco was a very distinctive loaf, and it looks like the French bread they sell here.
Yeah.
The taste, and mouthfeel, totally different.
And Josh, that's a good question. How about the Fourth Circuit panel on Second Amendment rights being applicable to 18-year-olds and speech and voting?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when it wasn't 18-year-olds, it was 16-year-olds, wasn't it?
No,
No,
18.
18. It was announced that that the government couldn't pick and choose which rights that you were granted at emancipation.
At what age?
Yeah.
Because
If you had rights at 18, you had all. If you had civil rights at 18, you've got all civil rights, not just the few the government. And that one's going to the Supreme Court.
Yeah. Because the upside of that, or downside, depending on your point of view, is if they say 18 to 20-year-olds can't possess firearms, then they can't serve in the military
Well, not
in a
only,
combat branch.
not only that, but they tied it expressly to voting rights.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you can vote, you can carry a gun.
Yeah.
Well, you can't carry a gun. You can't vote.
shucks, which puts paid to the Democrats wanting the 16-year-olds and 14-year-olds to vote, because
But
when you're that young, you can
the
tell
fourth-
them whatever you want. And
The
they'll
fourth,
believe you.
the Fourth Circuit flat out stated that no, civil rights are not a pick and choose. You
Yeah.
either get them or you don't.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, and that's really going to be interesting as far as release felons.
Yeah.
If it holds that all civil rights are
It used to be, you serve your time. That's it.
Yeah.
You serve your time, you're done.
if you paid your debt to society, you were done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You got your rights back.
Mhm.
Right to own firearms, right to vote, all that
everything.
other stuff. Although I don't think the Constitution ever looked on voting as a right, because they had specific instances where
It's written as a duty.
yeah, and they have specific criteria that if you don't meet, you can't vote. Therefore, it's not a right
That-
per se. Like
If I
anything.
remember correctly, and I'm not exactly sure that I do, is the founding fathers voting was one, you had to prove that you could think enough.
Yes,
You had to own land, which means you
Yeah.
had to be able to keep land, which meant you had to have some business sense.
I don't know about the land bit,
Yes.
but I do know that if you did certain things, you could lose your right to vote.
Yeah.
Which is something that a right,
I don't think voting are right. I think voting
because you can't do certain things and lose your right to
Voting is
life.
privilege, not a right.
Yeah.
I think it was a duty.
Well,
It's your civic duty, much
it was
much
a duty, but it was also a privilege.
much like serving on a jury is not a right; it's a duty.
I just love the fact that we're just sitting here saying duty.
Duty.
Yeah.
Duty.
And Josh
Duty.
says, and bingo, JimJim hit the logical conclusion on the head. Yeah. And
He
I've
did?
got comments going back and forth
Normally
about
he hits
food in
llamas
the
on the
chat.
head. Normally he hits llamas on the head.
Yeah. The rafter goes, like Philly cheesesteaks, you can't get a good cheesesteak outside of Philly because you can't get Amoroso rolls outside of Philly, which is true.
Yes.
I have a fondness for I hate to say this, I have a fondness for bread.
Yeah.
And not the American stuff. You
The
know,
Wonder Bread that you can compress down into a cube about
Little
an inch
cube,
across.
yeah.
That's
Pack
a
in
lot
a
of
cube.
air.
that you compress into a cube, put in a Ziploc bag in your Sponson pocket, your BDUs, and keep them.
Yeah.
But good fresh bread overseas, when you could walk by the communal kitchen and pulling hot bread out of the oven.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it. I mean, every community, there were living in Reading, there were bakeries everywhere. It was like a neighborhood thing. Where you go down to the bakery in the morning, you get bread for the day.
Yeah. Well, Tangiers, they had these giant communal ovens.
Yeah.
And you would be at home, you'd be making your dough, letting it rise, whatever you do with dough, and then you would take it down there and they'd throw it in there and tag it for you. And when it came out, come get your bread.
Yeah. Steph says voting is a duty, not a right, but it's a duty that morphed to privilege. Well, yes and no. And Joel's comment is, I'm willing to have disability to vote or to keep and bear arms as an explicit additional punishment for crimes. Blanket former felons can't vote is troubling.
Well,
yeah, the problem is that it used to, going back to what I was trying to, it used to be that once you paid your debt, you got your rights back. Carrying weapons, voting, the whole kit and caboodle came up because you paid your debt.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that's slowly changed to where you commit a wrong and you pay for it for the rest of your life. No matter if you turn your life around or not, you could become Saint Teresa.
Yeah.
And you still wouldn't be able to vote because when you were 16, you smoked a joint.
Yeah.
So, well, not that, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So
well, my classic example is Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
The actor.
Yeah.
That man has done more good.
Yeah.
He is the poster child for rehabilitation.
Yeah.
He'll never be able to own a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody out there, I would trust Danny Trejo over a whole bunch of other folks as far as having a gun in his house.
Mark Wahlberg is another example.
Yep.
He's a dirtbag and he annoys me.
Just because he's from Boston.
He's a dirtbag and he annoys me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, same deal.
Yeah.
Did something when he was a kid, back when he was Marky Mark.
Yeah.
And never owned a gun.
Cedar says, "Oh, I'm going to have to bake for y'all." Yes.
Sweet.
We'll take it.
Sweet.
And Sarah Plithrow says, "Yeah, the Ian's accent's coming out," which
What?
it is.
Bugger.
It's been out ever since the comment about the 18-year-olds.
You guys gave me all sorts of shit about having to cold proof pizza dough for 3 days. And Domino's cold proofs their pizza dough.
Okay.
Because if they didn't, it doesn't taste like Domino's.
So cardboard or cardboard?
No. There's a definite, if you don't do it right, there's a definite difference in flavor.
Folks, they're working on this. There's a pizza place in Itchy Paw called Rapid Fired Pizzas.
Yes.
And that has, as far as restaurant pizzas, that's spoiled me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been eating at Rapid Fires for as long as it's been there.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing about pizza is you should be using an oven that's somewhere in the neighborhood of 750 degrees.
Like Rapid Fire does.
Yeah.
No, it's actually over 1,000.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you really is the pizza oven itself is all designed to bounce heat back in and focus in, so
Yeah.
you get really hot.
It's a dome on the inside.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a parabola.
Yeah,
And that's what it does.
But that's because pizzas should be, they should be just
A
made
pizza?
like that,
A pizza.
Yeah.
right?
Domino's never learned to do it right. Yeah, that's true.
Well, no, I was telling Jim the other day. We've been eating Rapid Fire since it
Open, yeah.
Oh.
First week, yeah.
and we have a Pizza Hut here in Tiny Town.
God, I
And I was hungry and went to Pizza Hut. And that was a mistake.
that for Pizza Hut, that place sucks. I mean,
That was a terrible pizza.
you could compare it to a Pizza Hut and
God damn it.
compare to Pizza Hut and Wichita, and it's terrible. It's not terrible for a pizza place. It's terrible for a Pizza Hut place.
And Cedar, the chef, has heard from again. Proofing gets the proteins all nice and springy too.
But
I
yeah,
heard
also
wah, bread tastes good.
Domino's
She wants
cold
to build a
proofs.
cob oven in her
At-
backyard.
Cold proofs at 2 degrees C. For some reason, it has to be between like 2 and 4 degrees C. or it
Bring me
won't
the
proof right.
pie. Is it good? Yes. Don't care about the rest.
Rapid
Yeah, but
Raptor says, "I'll do evil things for a good pizza."
Yeah, but you can. I
I've
mean, you
done
can get
that.
you can go to Boar's Head and get the best ingredients possible. If you've got a shitty crust, you've got a shitty pizza.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have a really good crust,
Ingredients.
yeah, you're
Well, I will say that Luigi's is not bad.
yeah for
Luigi's pizza, for being the size of 3 manhole covers, is not
Yeah.
bad.
no, that's true.
Sanford goes, "Rapid Fire in Ohio sucks. Might be the individual store." Yeah.
It could be.
We don't have Casanos down here, so I have nothing to compare it to.
Luigi's is a local. It's a family.
Yeah, it's a local Italian family
Yeah, you
from
can-
Italy.
When they're swearing in the kitchen, it's all in Italian,
Mhm.
and their pizzas are fantastic, but they're bloody huge.
Well,
You can-
all their meals are good.
I
We've
mean,
never
you get
got
regular
a bad
size
meal
over there, but I just like the fact that everybody's eyes goes.
I love the fact they bring it out and show it to new people. Here's your pizza, and everybody goes, Jesus.
Yeah.
What?
I'm just laughing at Koala says, "Grew up down the road from a family owned fourth generation Italian place that made some amazing brick oven pizza. I miss it."
We had. I wonder if Luigi's is part of that family that came up from Bowie,
Could be.
because Rita and I were out perambulating about, and we were in Bowie, which is someplace I'd never been, and neither had Rita, and we saw this red and white and green
Yeah.
concrete structure and thought, what the hell, we're hungry. And we walked in, and it was about closing time. And walked in, and this floofy little guy prances up, and in an accent right out Toscano, says, "Are you hungry?" And he said, "Oh God, we're hungry." And that was a mistake. And when we got done getting stuffed, he brought out the tiramisu and told us not to touch it. It's like, what? And he goes back and brings back Italian coffee. And he says, "You are from Texas." I didn't correct him. "You do not know how to eat this." It's like, okay. And so you take a bite and a sip and a bite and a sip. Oh my God, that was good.
Yep.
And then they moved into Burke, which is north of Tiny Town. And it didn't last there.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, because every one of them had an Italian accent.
Yeah, we ate there a couple of times.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
And I'm pretty sure they were on the run from Sicily. You know, they were
And they
until the warrant was recalled.
didn't they didn't go hide out in the UP of Michigan. That's usually where they go.
Yeah.
Although for chain pizza restaurants, I miss Shakey's. I think Shakey's had the best pizza for a chain restaurant. Oh God, yeah.
You ain't right.
No, it was. You never had Shakey's? Oh
I had Shakey's and once was enough.
no. I think it was
See, every time you say Shakey's, I'm thinking you're saying Shoney's.
no.
Shoney's wasn't bad, but it was a buffet place.
Yeah, no. The Shakey's pizza.
Yeah,
Shakey's.
it's Koala says,
Every Shakey's had a player.
never
piano.
tell Italians you're hungry. True statement.
Oh, and Shakey's used those pepperonis that would curl up so they'd make little
Oh,
cups.
little cups.
Yeah.
And they'd be nice little crispier on the edges. I love that.
I told a little Italian grandmother just on a north suburb of Rome. I was hungry one time.
Yeah.
And she acted like I had just committed the 7th cardinal sin. Sat me down, plonked a salad bowl of spaghetti in front of me, and said, "You work on that. When we are done, you order food." Wait a minute. Wait. You are too skinny. Eat.
Cedar, we can do tiramisu up here.
Oh,
We have a
yes.
good one, local.
Yeah.
We did
Luigi's.
I used to eat at this Portuguese place in Reading all the time. Same way. old guy around the place. You'd sit down and he'd start plunking food in front of you. First, it was the olive oil with
With the toasted garlic.
yeah, and other
Uh-huh.
herbs and spices in it, and the loaf of bread.
Yeah.
And you hadn't even ordered yet, and it might be half an hour before the menu showed up. But in that half an hour, you would eat, and you would talk, and you would drink, and then the menu would show up. So if you went there, you would show up at 6, and you'd walk out at 10.
That's one of the things that was hard for me to wrap my mind around in the States was the fact that the evening meal didn't take 4 hours.
I've seen you eat.
Yeah.
Evening meals never took more than 15 minutes with you.
That is post-military.
Yeah. We're probably one of the best
Eat
Italian
it now,
restaurants.
taste it later.
One of
Folks,
the best Italian restaurants I've seen in the U.S. Sadly, it's no longer open. There's a place called La Scala out in San Diego on Point Loma, not down in the Italian district. Little hole in the wall in the middle of a block. And we stumbled in there one night looking for something to eat about 9:30. And there was an antipasto bar.
oh, yeah.
Sweet.
And we went, oh,
Hit that like a fist of an angry god.
oh God, yes. And she knew how to do stuffed mushrooms. So we're going through this. This little old Italian lady comes out of the back and she looks at us and she goes, I don't see you before.
Mhm.
No, ma'am, we're not from here. But you like Italian food? Then did a couple of tours in Sicily. Oh, you were at Sigonella. Ruh-roh.
Oh, damn.
Everybody in the place spoke Italian.
Buck up, little tummy, get her in for a bad night.
Speaking of, are we going to do a Churrascaria in August when we go down to DFW? Or are we going to do something else?
If I could get him to respond to my PMs, we'd figure something out.
Yeah.
Vlad's a little busy.
He is.
So
I've got stuff for him to sign.
every time we went back in there, the wait staff was different because they were grandkids, cousins, whatever from
Cycling
Italy.
through until a warrant was recalled.
Yeah. But she would feed us, and it was like, bring out a plate of lasagna, and I kid you not, it would be
The
8
kind,
inches by 6 inches.
the kind that's made in bread tins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would be 3 inches thick.
Mm-hmm.
And she would be disappointed if you did not eat it all.
Oh, God.
That's my
Food-
favorite way to
food
make
as
lasagna is you get a bread pan which has the 6-inch size, right? And you make it in there. It makes about 3 servings, 2 if you're meat,
Yeah. One if you're you.
and it'll be good 4 or 5 inches tall.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That Rita likes the French stuff. She likes French food.
Well, she's frou like that.
I like
Yeah.
Italian. I like Italian food. I like Moroccan.
Yeah.
She likes Indian. I like Moroccan. There's a difference.
There is a difference.
There's
Yes.
a difference. I mean, it's got the same, I guess,
The
multitude of layers of flavors.
Yeah.
But Moroccan is so different than
the
Indian.
culinary training is the same. The
Is heat,
Yeah.
no,
is oil,
Yes.
is protein.
no. The training is the same. How they train their chefs is the same, because it's a French colony, so they train the French,
yeah.
but the spices and the ingredients are all
And the
North
tagines
African.
in Morocco
Oh,
are
Yeah.
tagines. God, I miss tagines.
Sarah Singleton says, we had an amazing breakfast at a little guest house in Bulgaria. Homemade yogurt with honey from their own bees and fresh homemade badista.
Oh, God. Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, Josh says, eating quickly is not only a post-military thing for Ian, but also recent retirement. Yeah, and I still eat quickly, and I've been retired for 20 years.
What? What did you
Eating
say?
quickly is probably not only post-military,
Oh,
but
yeah.
also recent retirement.
Yeah. That is a fact.
Yeah, and I still do that. I retired in '92 from the Navy.
It was funny watching Rita reading our body language.
Yeah.
Because we were somewhere and there were a crap ton of us at a table.
Yeah.
and she was looking around and she was pointing at people. And I'm going, what? She said, I'm looking at all the people who have backed their ears and devil take the hindmost on eating, and they have their left hand up fencing the plate from the neighbor. She said, he's military, and he's military, and she's military, and he's military. It's like, how can you tell? You all eat the same way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, have you noticed dinner around here?
Yeah, I have.
No touching my food.
The left hand's vertical on the table, fencing the plate and the food.
Mushroom caps that have Richard's. Mushroom cap stuff with baby clams cooked in garlic butter and sauce. Oh, yes. Actually, the best ones I ever had, Richard, were in a cafe on the side of Mount Etna, which sadly is no longer there because the lava got it.
It happens.
But he did portobello mushrooms about 3 inches across with garlic, butter, sausage, Italian sausage.
Now you're
And
making me hungry
breadcrumbs.
again. Now you're making me hungry again.
And yeah, that was we would go up there and just eat that off the antipasta table.
Oh, something I tell all of the folks that try tagines, and everybody should try making a tagine at least once. Something the cookbooks often don't tell you, you need to have pickled lemons in your tagine.
Yeah.
That's a requirement. But
Good luck finding them over here.
well, they're becoming more and more common.
Yeah.
The thing is they never ever tell you, because your grandmother should have already shown you this.
Yeah.
You have to rinse the pickled lemon. If
Yeah.
you don't, because it's
Yes.
packed in salt. And everyone knows, it's one of those things everyone knows you have to rinse the pickled lemons. Americans that didn't grow up around a decent pickled lemon don't do it. And I don't know why my tagine's so salty. Well, shall I rinse the lemon? What? Because Dot made a tagine
Yeah.
one time. I said, oh, please God, what do we do? Rinse the lemon. She said, what?
Yeah.
I said, rinse the lemon. That's not in the recipe. Trust me, rinse the lemon.
Which breaker is it? Because they're all on.
Oh, that's fun.
All right, I
That's
gotta go
cool.
handle something. You two got it.
We got it? What?
They're all,
You can't do this to
they're
me.
all on.
Don't do this to me. You're gonna have to move bugger.
No, let's do it this way.
No, it's fine like where it is. No, don't do that.
So,
So-
do that again, because it was just massive fingers on the camera.
Were your parents formally introduced before your birth?
Yes, they were.
Prove it.
They disavowed me, but they were.
So we were off on food again.
Yes. We spent the last almost half an hour on food.
My God, it goes so fast.
Yes, it does.
Jim has been fighting the fact that there are increasing calls to make this a 2-hour show, and he's determined it's not going to happen.
I don't know if we could talk for food for 2. Well, we could talk about food for 2 hours, but actual topics that mean.
When was the last time we had actual topic on
Well, we
this thing?
started off with Cuba
Yeah,
and
and
Afghanistan,
then thunk.
and then we went, and at which point we went to
Food.
bread. Yes, it was,
It always goes. I guess I ought to read the.
read the comments.
JimJim, move to the camera. Cuban government appears to be jamming on the 40-meter ham bands. Oh, have you seen the latest upsurge in ham radio operations? It was a moribund dying art.
Well, when they required Morse code. So, like, to get your private, you have to do 5 words a minute. To get your general, you have to do 10 words a minute.
Okay.
Your intermediate was 7 words a minute, right? You have to be able to listen to, understand, and decipher Morse code. And they've dropped the code requirement. So now you can get a no-code ham radio license. Which, now I had an intermediate when I was a kid because I never got faster than like 7.5 words a minute on Morse code. But nowadays, you don't need to know code. Or even if you don't, you can get a computer program that if you've got a clean enough signal, it will translate the code for you.
Well, that's the thing of it is I consider one of the massive failures of the public education system, despite, its other than its entire existence, is they don't teach Morse code. And the Boy Scouts have stopped teaching Morse code. Morse code is an incredibly
They still have the badge though.
Is an incredibly versatile communication system.
Well, you can speak to anywhere in the world. My dad had what they call QSL cards, which is just saying, "Hey, I talked to you."
Okay.
Right. And he had QSL cards from everywhere in the world, and he had a couple from Skylab.
Oh, well done.
Because every now and again they put an astronaut they put a naval astronaut up there who knew code, because folks, the Air Force stopped teaching code to because knowing code was a requirement of all officers in every branch up until I can't remember when, and then the Air Force stopped requiring it, then the Army stopped requiring it, and then and I think the Navy stopped requiring.
The thing about Morse code is it's not just an auditory based. It can be visual, blinking lights. It can be auditory, the dashes, dats, knocks. It can be tactile. You can do Morse code on objects.
You can, like the guys at the Hanoi Hilton did. You can bang it out on a pipe and
it's an
talk to the guy next to you.
It's an incredibly versatile communication system. I don't know why. I have not a clue why everybody stopped teaching it.
Because Morse code was invented in the 18th century or 19th century, and we're modern now.
So were immunizations.
Yeah, I know. It's you're preaching to. I've got an app on my phone I put it there years ago to relearn Morse code because it is a good tool to have. But
well, I knew it. When I was in the Boy Scouts, they were still teaching. You still had to know Morse to get your. Was it radio communications merit badge? I forget which. It was a long time ago.
Well, the thing is, they still have those badges. Like I told you, we had a Boy Scout troop come out to the range. No, when I was working at the range up in Tulsa, to come out, and they were going to work on their shooting badges. Except it was an unsanctioned event because BSA, would not sanction a shooting event.
No, for God's sake. Let's see what we got here. Okay, never mind. No, I used to know Morse code. I had to get it for my for the communications merit badge when I was 16, which was a while ago back. But I stopped using it when I realized that there were very, very, very few other people that would understand what I was doing. Which was sad.
When I was in grade school, I used to pass notes to my friends in class in Morse code.
Well, I used to get tickled. I remember there was I think it was a Doctor Who episode that this guy was trapped in the trunk of a car, and he was pulled the wires off the brake light and was using Morse code. And it's like, I can read that. That's not it has nothing to do with what they say it's saying, but it's random letters, but I can still understand it.
Oh,
and it was kind of a thrill.
The old RKO pictures of the bit of film in the beginning that shows the tower. Yeah. If you listen to it, it's spelling out RADIO. So RKO pictures.
Oh wow!
It spells it out in spin Morse code. Yeah. It took me a while to figure that out.
It has to be 3 decades since I've done Morse code, and it's all gone. Yeah. It's all gone.
Same here. Although if you look at how he did the letters, it feels like E is dot, and A is dot dash, I think. Anyways, if you look at what Morse code he assigned to every letter, what he did was he took the
letter,
he took the alphabet, broke it down by most used to least used.
Smart.
And then said, okay, I'm not going to use more than 3. I don't need to use more than 3 for any letter. And then if I want to get into like numbers, there'll be 4. And I want to use, so he thought it out really well, because but prior to Morse, there was a Brit that had a light signal that was like it, but it was cumbersome because the 26th letter had 26 flashes
Oh, wow.
associated with it or
Oh,
something
wow. So A was 1, B was 2, C was
like
3.
that. Yeah,
Oh,
that kind
Lord.
of deal. And so it worked.
Ish.
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 And then Morris came along and said, well, we can do this better.
And he did.
You're getting slapped down by Josh.
slapped down?
3 decades. Ian is 46.
Bite me. 3 decades ish.
Hey, Pat, good to see you.
Why am I on these?
Because you volunteered.
That was dumb.
Yeah, well, you started it. I didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Hey,
wait. The COVID pandemic is over with. We were doing these to keep people amused during the COVID pandemic. Why are we still doing it?
Because we got threatened if we quit before
Good point.
come hunt us down.
Good point.
CW is alive and well. Yeah, low on the bucket list is right.
Do they still require Navy officers to learn code?
Morse
Yes,
code?
Okay.
they are now starting to teach that. They're also starting to teach signaling again, and they're also starting to teach celestial nav again.
Oh, wow.
The Air Force dropped it first, I think, and I think the Army gave up teaching it a long time ago too,
Yeah.
which is sad.
Well, I think if you were in a signals MOS up until the 70s, you still had to learn it. But in the 70s, they dropped a lot of stuff off
Yeah,
MOS.
but it was a requirement for officers. Every officer, no matter what his specialty, knew Morse code.
It's smart. Well,
Yes,
every
yes.
Boy Scout until the 70s knew Morse code.
Yeah.
Jesse says, Hotel California rules. You can check out anytime you like, but
you can never leave.
Raptor, that's neat. You got to drive a steam locomotive. Yeah, Big Boy's coming through next month.
I'm not sure there's a lot of driving to steam locomotives, sort of just letting it loose.
There's 68 hours of startup.
Yeah.
You're not just turning a key.
No, you
And
are
then-
heating the water till it boils.
And then
Yeah.
there's like 2 levers that you have to while it's running.
Off, on.
Yeah.
No, well, there's a lot more to it than that.
Well, yeah.
Well, there's a guy with a shovel.
Well, there's an engineer, and then
Coal.
there's the fireman.
Yeah, fireman.
The funny part is, Sarah Singleton says, they're stop and go. Yeah.
That's one of the things I always used to laugh. You know, the old serials, and there always used to be this fight on top of a train.
Yeah.
And somebody'd wind up in the wood box.
Yeah.
And the wood box is always full.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You've been on this train for 16 hours. That wood box is not full.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, Raptor got driving Norfolk and Western 611, the Spirit of Roanoke.
The Roanoke, the missing colony.
Yes. There's a
Wow.
Now, trains were named back in the day.
Oh, I know.
yeah, because they were one-offs.
Yeah.
The
Grandpa
there's
had a few names for some of the ones he drove, and they were,
Most of which can't be repeated in polite
There's
company.
yes.
there's a scenic one that runs out of Boone, Iowa. I think it's Boone, but it's an old steam locomotive and it's restored, period correct carriages, and it's a day run, and you
Yeah.
run east-west across Iowa.
How scenic can that be?
Very.
Yeah.
Really?
You got to remember, Iowa has the Loess Hills,
Ah,
Loess.
Yeah, so they're about 4 feet high.
Well, it's the glaciers pushed them down.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah, Loess for, you
Okay.
geologist types would know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what Loess is.
Ian driving up this
Yes.
ook.
This Ford, imagine driving a Ford Model T that weighs 700 tons, several hundred tons, and you can't see in front of you. Yeah, that's,
And there ain't no left and right.
yeah.
Can you imagine how many train cars you'd need for 300 tons of cotton candy?
Stop with the cotton candy already.
I'm just curious because it's volume, you know.
The hell did that come from?
Yeah.
I'm just volume because
One of my old Navy flight engineers, when he retired, became a railroad engineer.
Good. It's a good job. You can get it.
And he's
Mhm.
now an inspector. So when the UP brought Big Boy back, he got to go drive it. And he sent us pictures. He said, but
After 4 hours, you check with the doctor.
he said, I can't send you any pictures of the train in motion because we're not allowed to use or have cell phones in the cab with us while we're working.
There's a reason for that.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, and for good reason.
Yeah. The last two fatalities I know of were because the engineer was looking at a cell phone.
Yeah.
When he ran over somebody.
He was looking at his cell phone in possibly the most automated moving vehicle in existence.
Yeah.
And had an oopsie.
Yes.
Yep.
Which kind of makes me nervous about these lane assist things and self-driving cars.
Oh, no.
I mean, a train. How automated is a train engine nowadays? And it's on a track.
Yeah, it's not going left or right.
Right.
It's just going straight.
And they're still having accidents.
Yeah.
Stick me behind one of those Domino self-driving cars, which is another thing.
And Raptor makes an excellent point. Says if you're operating the steam locomotive correctly, you don't have time to work a cell phone.
Oh God, no! There are like 80 billion gauges you have to look to make sure the steam is correct.
And if it's
And
not,
if you don't,
Yeah, it's either not going to run or it's going to blow up.
well, usually it'll blow up.
Yeah.
Because that's what Grandpa did when he became an
well,
investigator.
apparently there was one whistle before that let you know to bend over and kiss your butt goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the pop valve blew, you had just enough time to, crap, and then you died.
Yeah.
I think the pop-out valve blew into the cab too.
Well,
Yeah.
no, the back of the boiler blew off.
No.
If they were lucky.
The warning pop-out valve.
Yeah, there was one. The pop-off valve was in the cab,
and it would vent in the
and
cab.
then when it popped, it filled the cab full of superheated steam.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, hey, in the next second, I'm going to blow up.
Yeah.
While you're parboiling, it only lasts for a second.
Well, he's got pictures, and I have them now, of the entire boiler blown 30 feet off the cab.
Watching this?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Surgeon General, quote, COVID misinformation is urgent threat.
Are they talking about Fauci or are they talking about conservatives?
It's the mainstream media. What
Yeah.
was coming out of the White House? What do you think?
I'm thinking what
Do you see the other one? The White House has announced that they are going to be making a list of the conservative influencers who are being followed by the January 6th rioters.
because they're going to.
I want it on record that if I am not on that list, I am filing a grievance with the shop steward. I better be on that list.
Well, they've thrown the book at the January 6th protest.
And apparently it's bouncing in several places.
Well, it might be in a couple, but they're letting people rot with this hanging over their head, which is,
Yeah. And Sarah Singleton said self-driving Tesla ran into a tree, killed both occupants, and they couldn't get the fire out because batteries.
Right.
Well, you put water on it.
I love that they're crash testing all these electric vehicles. Well, this is 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And they're using lithium-ion battery technology, right? So they'd run the car through the crash test, and then they go put it in a lot because it takes a while for the engineers and the scientists to get to it, right? So it's sitting outside of the spot, and some of these things would burst into flame a week later.
Yeah.
It's because enough water got into lithium, but nobody could figure out why they were bursting into flames.
No, really?
Yeah,
Lithium,
like,
water.
it was just sitting there, and then it went up in flames, and we don't know why.
Yeah.
And anybody who's had any experience with lithium-ion batteries would have looked at it and gone, "Oh, let water get in there," because you cracked the batteries when you crashed it, and enough water finally got in there.
Well, in Itchy Paw, the very first, what is it when you've got the engine's actually charging a battery, not the hybrid?
Yeah.
Very first hybrid got into a wreck. What did the responding engine do?
Douse it down with
Doused it down with water because that's what you do.
Yeah.
That was an oopsie.
right.
Yeah. DW said, Jack Kennedy gave us the best and brightest. President Biden is giving us the worst and dumbest. Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, if I'm not on that list of conservative influencers, I'm filing a grievance.
Yeah.
So everybody
Richard
was,
goes, robot pizza delivery, rustling.
It already happened.
Yeah.
everybody is up in arms because of the fact that Trump ended up using a lot of his own family in his administration because he couldn't trust anybody else, right?
It turns out he
Literally
was
couldn't
right.
trust anybody else. Anytime he hired somebody else, with a few exceptions, they turned and stabbed him in the back.
Within 6 months, they were doing tell-all interviews.
Right.
It's bloody hell.
None of the Dems pointed to the fact that Kennedy had his own brother as the Attorney General And he appointed family to all sorts of positions.
Well, hell, look at this current administration, the number of kids, wives, grandsons, granddaughters.
Oh, well, that's nepotism.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and they're like, well,
Let's face it.
when Orange Man did it, it was bad. But when we do it, it's because.
When the House plant does it, it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it. Dr. and Mrs. Biden is actually running this thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure his handlers are handling the Biden family positions to keep them quiet about exactly how bad the ficus is.
Josh wants to know if we're conservative influencers or professional codgers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have yet to
Pretty
receive a
much.
paycheck, therefore
Not professional.
not professional.
Yeah.
Now, if he's willing to send me a paycheck,
Professionals get paid.
and not in pickles either. I want real.
What about the dream you keep telling everybody about standing at the top of a pyramid with naked women throwing pickles at you?
Listen, if you can get naked women throwing pickles at me, then I will become professional for you. But if you're just going to send me pickles and expect me to find my own naked women,
Yeah.
no.
And Cedar says amateur means you do it for love. No, we do it because we're bored to tears.
And I keep getting threats.
Yeah. Yeah. And the threats are, an issue.
And the fact that every time we do this, I wind up on another watch list amuses me to no end.
And I
Joel
can't.
says,
I can't even pick up a troll out of this bullshit.
call her the Edith Biden. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're on watch list. They just won't ever tell you about it.
I just love the fact that every time the NSA guy scans past my webcam on my computer, he throws up a little bit more.
I like the fact that mine goes home at 5 o'clock, climbs in the shower, and starts crying.
Yeah, Josh
I
wants
need
to know
a sticker.
where your llamas are on the pyramid, JimJim.
Right next to me.
Stop stroking the chair. That's just really creepy. He's stroking the chair suggestively. That's really creepy.
You asked the question.
Oh,
What we need is a bumper sticker that says, "You're why the NSA drinks."
You're off coffee, aren't you?
Yeah, I can't have.
You can't have coffee?
Can't-
Because
can't.
Black Rifle Coffee Company has released their Power Llama
yeah.
coffee blend, and the bag has a llama with 2 miniguns.
You guys laugh at me about llamas. Llamas are a thing.
Oh, we know. Trust us.
They have kind eyes.
That's what you keep saying.
Yeah.
They're camels. Ain't nothing kind about them.
They
Yeah.
have kind eyes.
Jesse goes, also domestic extremist. I still want my Hilux and a pallet of what?
Yes. Well, it's I deserve a Hilux, 10 million untraceable cash, and a crate of weapons.
Why do you want a Hilux?
Because everybody gets them. If you're an extremist, the CIA gives you
No,
your standard
if you're-
extremist pack.
If you're technical, you get a Hilux with a douche coup mounted on the back.
Okay.
I would want a Unimog
No, I give up.
Josh,
with 105 millimeter.
Well, okay.
I'm doing this on the cheap. I don't have professional cameras and all the other crap that goes with it.
This
What
whole
I can do,
this
I
whole
can turn it around
this whole
way.
thing is cheap. This whole thing's done on the cheap. Move this. This whole thing's done on the cheap. Don't you dare.
I've offered to buy him a omnidirectional mic.
Just do it.
It sits on a stand, this little ball.
Little ball.
It's a little-
We are so
Ambassadors, friends, family, campaign fundraisers. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what they're doing, Richard. It's anybody that, and Sarah goes, I want to be an informant.
I want to know how much you have to contribute to get an ambassadorship.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking to like England or Germany. I'm talking to like Bali
Yeah.
Peru.
or Tenerife. If it's
I'm not sure it's going to be that much because generally speaking, ambassadorships, about half of them go as rewards for long and faithful service in foreign service.
right. Yeah, but
And half of them go because you donated enough money to that campaign.
Yeah, and I just want a nice, quiet little something in Polynesia, maybe.
Yeah.
Or Micronesia, just a nice.
Well, you'd be a little boy down there.
Yeah, no, I just want a nice.
See, that's the thing is you throw your hat in the ring, you donate your $500
Yeah.
because I know you're cheap.
Well, I want to be sure to get it. So is it $1,000? Is it $2,000? What do I need to donate?
And you'd wind up
And then
as the U.S. consul to Mali.
Yeah, and I hang out my hammock between two palm trees. That'll be the consulate.
Well,
Hours will be between
I'm here to
11:59
tell
and
you-
12:02.
I'm here to tell you that a good ambassador shows up, eats the rubber chicken,
Yeah.
and lets the consulate and embassy staff do their jobs.
That's exactly it. That's all I'm asking. Micronesia, Polynesia, somewhere in there, I think would be perfect. I'm not asking for England. I mean,
Court of St. James is not a fun.
what I would love to see
Richard,
is
I would
you.
never monetize this because I don't want to do that.
Can you
This
imagine
is for fun.
Ian eating at a state function in England? There's the Queen and the royal family and all the ministers, and you with a backhoe shoveling that rubber chicken in,
It's not that.
and then banging the table for more.
It's not that. It's the fact that when I get nervous, as people have noticed, the interchange between brain and mouth tends to go away.
I just think it'd be hilarious to watch.
And I would hate to go, hey, honey, pass the chicken to the queen.
If anybody out there has any inroads into the current administration, just put a
No.
bug in whoever's running Biden that we need to make Ian.
That is right up there
Yeah.
with making Ian the sheriff. Not gonna happen. No.
Wallace says, well, shoot, I was just added to something. Chat disconnected. Laugh out loud.
Well,
Oh, by the way,
Welcome to your very first watch list.
everybody, Ian's platform for the
No.
sheriff is
well, no, she's
don't want to do it, can't make me do it.
Exactly.
yeah, she's ex-military, so she's already on a few lists.
Oh,
Oh, and we've wasted another hour and 2 minutes of your
oh
time
good
today,
Lord,
folks.
yeah.
We're done.
Thank you very
No, we're
much for
never
tuning
done.
in to the whatever this is.
It's like, what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah,
Not,
we
what,
never-
not
we
what
never-
we planned.
we never did get to talk about the money they're now sending all the families for the kids either. Well, yeah, we'll do that next week.
No, we won't. No, we won't.
Welfare money?
We'll be off on something else.
Hey, Sanford, you know us military folks, we always carry our own Tabasco with us. We don't have to ask anybody.
Cholula.
They used
Well,
used to
Tabasco.
they used to include the little bottles in MREs,
Yes.
and Tabasco still makes the little bottles. You can order them.
I
by
have
the
a case of them
She's
in
got a case on.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I
the one that
remember
told
the-
you about it. You can
I
order
remember
by
the
case.
MREs prior to the little bottles of Tabasco. Those things were.
Yeah, no, if you heard you're going on a field problem, you stop by the store and pick up Tabasco on the way out.
Josh said, Koala's married to me. She got an extra fee list added.
Woo!
Y'all take care, folks. Have
Be
a good
safe.
weekend. Be safe. Remember, don't
We
sweat the
did-
petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff.
We did
And
that
DW,
once.
thanks for chiming in. And you too, Pat. Good to see you, folks.
Y'all be safe.
Bye.
At Campbell when we would do the end of